Howdy, the Rob here. The following is a prototype of a news show that I would like to develop for my channel. Johnny O was kind enough to highlight this show on a recent episode of As the Plot Thickens. It is a bit dated as it discusses the Branson space launch, but it is only a proof of concept. The news program would highlight recent events in space exploration by both the US and international entities, astrophysical research, and any upcoming astronomical events such as eclipses or meteor showers, so forth and so on, that I find to be interesting. The show would end with an opinion piece related to some aspect of astronomy, space exploration, or science communication. Depending on the reception of the program, the aim is to produce 2 episodes per month, but if the response is exceptionally positive, I could see myself doing a weekly episode. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
3, 2, 1, release, release, release. Queen release. Ignition. Good rocket motor burn. There's Mach 1, trimming now. And 60 seconds, and that is a full duration burn, folks. We are headed to space. Welcome to Space Unity 22.
Howdy, and welcome to the Rob Space News Network. Today's story is Mr. Branson Goes to Space. On the morning of July 11th, Richard Branson, billionaire founder of the Virgin Group that includes Virgin Galactic, achieved a lifelong dream of experiencing life in outer space. He and his crew of 2 pilots and 3 mission specialists achieved suborbital flight at a maximum altitude of 86 kilometers or 282,000 feet. While there, they experienced approximately 4 minutes of weightlessness.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream, looking up to the stars. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship with lots of other wonderful adults looking down to our beautiful, beautiful Earth. To the next generation of dreamers, if we can do this, just imagine what you can do.
Mr. Branson and crew lifted off from Spaceport America, the company's launch facility in New Mexico, aboard Spaceship Two at 10:40 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. The VSS Unity achieved an altitude of 15 kilometers or 50,000 feet through the assistance of its mothership, the VMS Eve, a White Knight II carrier plane. The VSS Unity then detached and rocketed up the remaining 71 kilometers before returning to Earth and landing not too distant from the takeoff site. This feat, which Mr. Branson expressed as an experience of a lifetime, was viewed by a crowd of guests, including future passengers who have reserved their seats for a modest $250,000. Other notable attendees were Elon Musk, who will be making his own trip aboard the VSS Unity in the coming days, and the performer Khaled, who debuted his new single, New Normal, as the spacecraft landed. The VSS Unity was piloted by David McKay and Mike McCuzzi and carried along with Mr. Branson mission specialists Beth Moses, Colin Bennett, and Sarisha Bandla. Ms. Moses is Virgin Galactic's chief astronaut instructor. Mr. Bennett is the company's lead operations engineer, and Ms. Bandla is the company's vice president of government affairs and research operations. This flight is historic as it is the first time members of a commercial enterprise have crossed the boundaries into space. While competitor Jeff Bezos of Blue Origin might quibble that the true demarcation of space is the Kármán line at 100 kilometers, the VSS Unity crew obtained an altitude to grant them special astronaut wings by standards set by the US military, the FAA, and NASA. This boundary is set at a mere 80 kilometers above the Earth's surface. With this flight, Virgin Galactic is poised to meet its 2022 deadline of commercial passenger flight.
This is unbelievable. This is so unbelievable.
Howdy, folks. The Rob here. not to be confused with my twin, the Rob, who you just heard from. Let's get real for a moment. So I've heard a few people quibbling on Twitter, or YouTube, so forth and so on, talking about who really gives a shit. These are just billionaires playing with their toys. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson. What does this have to do with the average human being? Quite a lot, actually, because this is a subject that really is not getting a lot of press. While the feats themselves are getting a lot of press, the implications of them are not. Now, whether or not he actually got into space, whether or not he's actually an astronaut, I don't really give a fuck. What I do give a fuck is that China has written a white paper announcing that they plan to build not one, but 2 commercial spaceports within the next 10 years. What Virgin Galactic has done has demonstrated the feasibility of commercial spacecraft or space flight for the average human being. And yeah, I know, $250,000, the average person doesn't have that lying around. However, I go back and look at the tickets for the first Pan Am flights and compare them to how much people made back then. I think you'll find it was a fairly steep rate. But now, damn near anybody can afford a flight from here to Australia, to the ice wall, wherever. My point is that this is a reality. Commercial space flight is now a reality, and it will evolve beyond commercial space tourism to an essential infrastructure of humanity, much like air travel is today. And unfortunately, the laws which govern space are something of a Wild West that would make a soft Sid giggle in glee. Currently on the books for the UN, there are 6 treaties defining how international relations work in space and the moon. The last one of those was written or adopted in 1984. Yeah, that was a while ago. Some of you who are watching this may not have even been born yet. The fact of the matter is, Trump, and it pains me to say anything nice about the man, but while Space Force is a ridiculously stupid name, it is something of forethought. He had the foresight enough to recognize that where there is new opportunity, there is a chance for conflict. China is all in on commercial spaceflight. They are already making partnerships with South Korea and others. Where their interests are and where our interests collide, there will be conflict. Unfortunately, there will be conflict. In order to stave off bloody conflict, we really need to be building coalitions of our own, and we really need to be talking across the aisle about ways that we can govern in space fairly and equitably. These are conversations that we had now, before there is any kind of USS Maine event. Space is too dangerous of a place to go into blindly. In and upon itself, space is a hazardous environment, but it doesn't need to be made more so by the ambiguity as to what is right and what is wrong, what can be done and what cannot be done in terms of commercial interests, in terms of national interests. I hope to never see any real Star Wars. And with that, peace out. I bid you good night.